Well, I was gonna wait a little longer before starting, but like, let's go. Also, I'm sorry, my eyes keep freaking out. Oh no, that's bad when they do that. I was messing around with the model again, and some of the settings I found were very funny. Um, yeah, I still haven't quite gotten the expressions right, so we might turn those off again. Oh boy. Maybe? Are we? Nope, it's still recognizing. Okay, hold on a second. You'll get to see my settings for a second. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. This is all fine, actually. This is all part of the plan. And you don't need to worry, okay? Okay. Perfect. You The second I found the gummy slider, oh, it was beautiful. It was it was very hard to get a screenshot of it because I was laughing too much, and so the model was wiggling everywhere. Yeah, model is very excited. Real me is also very excited. I'm just very stoked about this and sort of surprised that we might be finishing it today. I mean, Arcade says we might be finishing, and I trust Arcade. Oh, I'm knocking shit over on my desk. Excuse me. Yeah, it's more Blackout Hospital. I'm excited. Trying to think if there's anything I really need to say. I know I talked about potentially streaming on Friday. I don't think I'm gonna be doing that, even regardless of whether we finish game today or not. No stream on Friday because the Outwaters is sorry, the Outwaters is available to stream on Screenbox on Friday. And honestly, I would rather watch that than stream. So we'll be doing a watch party of the Outwaters at some point on Friday, probably around like 5 or 6 p.m. Central. Yeah, I'm very stoked about that. And more Dead Space this weekend. What else? I think that's it. I think that's all like the announcements that I have. We're very close to funding Wholesome Week, so I gotta start considering planning that, figuring out what we're gonna do for that. Yeah. How are y'all? Stars, Arcade, anyone else who might be here? How are you doing, friends? It's nice to see you. I hope you're well. It's the middle of the week, and I hope it's been treating you well so far. And if it's not, let me know, and I'll come beat up time for you. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like if there's anything else, because I feel like there is, but I don't know what it is. Valentine chocolates. Don't give yourself a tummy ache, but also enjoy your candy. Enjoy your candy. I don't get paid until tomorrow, so I might be missing out on the chocolate sales. You know what? Sometimes, I mean, it's never fun to feel like a rock, right? After eating too much or doing a whole bunch of stuff, but it is usually a sign of having had a very good day the day before. Enjoy your candies. I'm glad y'all are doing all right, all things considered. Yeah, I think, are we ready to start this dang game? I think I'm ready. So let's just hop on over here and do this. And do this. I'm also excited. Wiggly anime Kaysh. It is a Kaysh stream. Hi Fruity. Hi Cyril. Yeah, let's beat this thing game. Not Adland. Well, rip Cyril. I need Cyril to not be an Adland so I can ask a question. Also, you're here now. Were you? Not to put you on the spot, but hi, Ams. Drive, walk, travel safe. Travel safe. Oh, this makes me so happy. Oh, I'm so glad you got people with the mind goblin. Oh, hey, friends. Hey, pals. Have you heard about the mind goblin? Oh, well, let me tell you about it. It's mind goblin these nuts. Sorry. That is, for context. No context, really, but it's one of my favorite. Steve Jobs died of ligma. Who's Steve Jobs? No, so I had been informed that Cyril needed some more D's nuts jokes, and Mind Goblin is my favorite one. Mostly in regards to D&D, because there's a spell called Vicious Mockery that you can cast as a bard. I'm sure other classes can cast it as well, but if you successfully cast Vicious Mockery, the target takes psychic damage, and the way that I cast Vicious Mockery is via the Mind Goblin. Yeah. And it's very good. And everyone needs to know about the Mind Goblin. Yeah, it does! Again, I use it in the context of D&D because it's like, oh, there's goblins everywhere, right? But no, you can easily slip it into any sort of conversation about movies or games or books or anything like that, and it's so good. Oh, this was a very good start to stream. Thank you, Cyril. It's true. The DM also takes psychic damage, which honestly is probably the best part of it. Hi, Travis. I am laughing and smiling so much that my model can't even tell that I have my eyes open. I love that. Cyril, I didn't even the way that I just accepted the fact that Cyril was pooping. I saw the comment, acknowledged it, and was just like, yep, this is normal. Yep, this is right. I didn't fully register that, you know, it's fine. Thank you, Smiley. I'm rather fond of it. Also, my cursor was on screen again. Anyway, hi friends, how's it going? How are we all doing? Smiley? Fruity? Cyril? You gotta go too before you can skadoo? I mean, I don't want to stop stream. I don't got... What are we doing? We are inspecting the operating rooms in the West Building. Travis, thank you for the contribution to Wholesome Week. We are at 95%. Smiley, thank you for the contribution to Wholesome Week. Look at y'all. Look at y'all! Okay. What happened last time? We ran into Rune, and he absolutely destroyed everything that we came in contact with, and it scared me. Fruity, thank you for the contribution as well. We got to meet Smiles, and he was perfect. And Cyril, thank you for the contribution as well. And Emerald was also perfect. We reunited Ollie with their friends. We solved a puzzle. I struggled, but it's fine because Arcade was here to make sure that I didn't lose all hope. And then we got keys to the operating room, and that's where we are now. Let's go. We're following the pink gunkus. Looks like there's something under the sheets. Yeah! Oh, wait. Are we gonna fight a deer? You begin to pull off the covers. No! We're gonna fight a gunkus. Cerberus. We did just save. I love dog. I love dog. Look at this very good dog. It's just a little puppy. It's just a little puppy. Sweet little jelly dog. I love him. Cerberus. What'd that mouth do? That is a dog. That is a dog. That is a dog. Dog, 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 dog. Yams, you have such good emotes. Oh, I love you, friend. Okay, we need to... make dog sick. I'm sorry, dog. And we don't need to do anything as far as healing everyone is concerned at the moment, so we'll just go ahead and have Reggie attack. Also, this music is a bop! That dog is sick, fam. That dog is sick. I love this dog, though. I would like to pet this dog, even if it means getting a little goopy. Mary, would you like to just attack? I need her to have some more energy so she can MP restore. And we'll just have everybody attack. Of course! I am happy that I can provide that for you right now. Cyril, where are you? It's raw dough? Like Fido? Or like... at your computer. With internet. Yeah, I was saying earlier, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but were you gonna... Hey friend, were you gonna stream today? Oh, like the bad dough Pokemon! Like Fido. I understand. The damp, moist dog Pokemon. Listen, the people want to know, Cyril. You streaming? You gonna stream? You got any streams on your computer? Ah, okay, that makes sense. Take the time that you need to take to get everything set up and organized. But just know that we're all very excited for you to be streaming again, okay? Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, good. Again, take your time. I mean, I'm gonna try and beat this game today. But I miss my friend Cyril. Also, I know some of my friends in chat right now are interested about it, and I mentioned it, and I don't think anyone was here just yet. I mean, Stars and Arcade were definitely here. But I'm gonna be streaming in Discord on Friday the Outwaters, if anybody wants to join. Big scary found footage horror. I can talk. It's fine. So that's gonna happen on Friday, and I've been meaning to send a DM to Smiley and Cyril and Sam and Fruity about trying to figure out a time for Skinamarink. It's good. Outwaters is gonna be streaming on Screambox, and they just announced that it's coming to that it's gonna be available on Friday, like as of yesterday. So very new development with it. We should be in water, because we are a fish. Blub, blub. So yeah, if people want to join for that, we'll be doing that on Friday. I have a tentative plan of like 5 or 6 p.m. Central, but if there's a better time that works for y'all, let me know. I posted it in Horror Fest, I think, in my Discord. So sound off if you want. If you have a specific time. Sorry, my brain. You'll be out? No. Is there a better time that works for you? Listen. Slash, it could also be another Skinamarink situation where I just stream it a whole bunch to everybody so that everyone can see it. I just want to share the new horror with everybody. Okay, hold on. I should... Okay. Well, we can watch it another time together. This is fine. Listen, I want to watch things with friends, and I will, if it means watching a thing multiple times, I will do it. No cry, please. I don't need to MP restore, but I do need... I'm gonna do the team restore. It's true, Fruity will sleep through it, therefore we'll need a second viewing. Oh, jeez. Okay, everyone's okay on health. Reggie needs his regen. We'll do that. MP restore. MP restore. Listen, I have learned. I have paid attention. Listen. If I have access to the very expensive weapons right off the bat, that's what I'm getting. That's just how it works. Is there... Wait, Smiley. What did you... Someone did send me... What'd you send me? I didn't realize I didn't have the treat stream stuff set up. Ah! Okay, hold on. Thank you, Smiley, first off. Hold on, I have to move everything because I can't see shit now. Fuck! Hold on, Smiley gifted me some food. I do have treat stream set up now, because I live in town, which means that things can be delivered to me. Okay, I'll mess around with the alerts later. Sub. Sandwich. A sandwich is coming to me. Okay, I've not had this happen before. It's the sub and cookies. It's Subway stuff. You're getting me my favorite cookies. Thank you, friend. Listen, I appreciate this. Cookies. It's the raspberry cheesecake cookies from Subway. They're my favorite. I love them. Thank you, Smiley. I have it written down now that I need to set up the treat stream alerts. So I will be doing that for next time. But I appreciate you getting me some dinner, basically. That's din tonight. Thank you, friend. Okay. I know I've been living here in my apartment for like the last 5 months now, which is almost 5 months? 4 or 5 months now? It's still wild to think about. But it's just very nice being in a place where I can get all the things that I need and where I can have things like this. I appreciate it. I'm so excited. I don't know how this works though, so now I'm mildly panicking, but it's okay. I'll just keep my phone over there where I can see it. Wait! Were those oozes on the side there? Those just got summoned, didn't they? Fuck. He called reinforcements. Yeah, okay. I got distracted by sub. You know what? This is okay. By puppy. Puppy. Goose, you gotta stop. Oh my god, are you kidding me? I had hoped that Mary and Vasilis would be able to take care of the goo. And they did, except he still has like 2 health points left, and that's a little annoying, but you know. Mary, I think you're the weakest hitting of everybody. Let's go ahead and team restore again. Reggie doesn't need it because he's fully healed, but that does take care of Mary and Vasilis as well. Goo toast. I bet they taste like strawberries. Yum. Okay. Dual attack Cerberus. Mary, you can attack the goo. And then Reggie, you can MP restore again. Nice job, Vasilis. Nice job, Mary! Look at them go. Okay, Cerberus special. Let's do Ruin and a regular attack for Reggie. Good job. Oh, that missed. Well, you know what? It's okay. We're doing great. There are no problems here. Everything is fine. I do really like the music for this fight. It's good. Ooh, dual attack. We're getting there. Mary, do you need... Yeah. No, it's real good. I've been really impressed with the music so far, like as a whole, but I think this is probably like my favorite track so far. It's good. Yeah. Okay. We need to attack with Cerberus, make dog sick, and then Reggie can take another hit if he has to. So we'll MP restore, and then we'll team heal again. Yeah. I'm not even worried about this. Team restore. Can I just outright attack? Just attack. Just go all out. special attack. You know what, Smiley? I'm happy that you tried to push through, but I'm also glad that you're taking the time off. You did a lot today, and it's been a weird day. Yeah, what a day! Good. I'm glad that you're taking you're taking the day off early. Okay, you got a lot done. You did so dang much. Be nice to yourself and take it easy for the rest of the day. Okay? That is not an option. Not an option. That is a command? Demand? Order! That's an order! None of it sounded right. It all meant what I wanted, but it just wasn't the right phrasing. It's fine. We understand. You gotta take the rest of the day off. Do something nice for yourself, okay? Okay. Good. We're just gonna attack. Dog done. Nap time, dog. 183 experience, 380 money? Yeah, polite request with no alternative. This is acceptable. You can hang out here. We like having you here. Boss, look out! Whoa. No, come back, dog. Dog. He dropped a thing. And I don't see it, so I assume it's in the hallway. Or I am blind. There it is. This is a collar. That's okay. Well, you're here now. You've seen a little bit of it. You're seeing more of it now. And it's real great. Oh, jeez. What is it? I think we might have to find that monster again. Let me see this. Therapy, huh? Therapy dog? Therapy dog? I would like this dog. Let me pet this dog. I need this dog. Give me the therapy dog. Our mental health ward is on the floor above this one. Think we might have any luck there? Dog, 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 dog. Dog, 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 dog. Dog, 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 dog. Doggity, doggity, dog, dog, dog. Okay. We'll rotate through our same 5 files. Upstairs, what floor did they say? I'm sure it's fine. 5th floor? Maybe? No. 2nd. Okay, thank you. I was bad at listening because I was distracted at dog. Oh. Ugh. Seriously? It could be worse, right? Whatever. Let's get this over with. The hell? What happened? I thought this stuff was supposed to be sticky. I almost slipped right on it and broke my neck. Is it a slippy puzzle? Hmm? You're right. Looks like the viscosity of the substance here is different. Maybe it's more recent? Either way, still sure you want to look for that monster? Yeah, I'll just be careful. It is a slippy puzzle. Ah. Wait, that was the wrong way. Okay, no, this is fine. They're very cool. Do I... This way, then. Okay. Yeah. It'll just take me a minute to get there, but we'll get there. It's fine. I like these kinds of puzzles. It just might take me a moment. Thinking, contemplating, considering. I'm working backwards a little bit. Can I go in here? No. That one's locked as well. Y'all just get to watch me slide around for a little bit. Yeah, it's exactly like ice skating, except completely different. Also, grip it and rip it. You know, ice skating, think of that, but not. Grippo, rippo. You too can grip and rip. I wanna get onto the... I want to get onto this couch, right? But I want to do that from the left-hand side. Ooh. It could still be a grip and twist. Smiley. A grip and hiss? Maybe? It works. It counts. You know what? We'll accept it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Wait, no, wait, no, wait, no! And I can't interact with any of the items here. They are where they are. It's stationary. Right? I wish you could see the face that I am making. I want to get... I found it. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Again, I have to stare at things for a little bit. I'm a little spatially challenged every so often. Also stars. Upside down baby. I love it when cats are just upside down. Farley does that all the time. He'll be laying there, but he'll be on his back with his little paws up and his head just like upside down. And you're like, you are adorable and I would like to pet you. The big long farts. He's a good boy. Aww. Everyone loved Lucky here and he'll be dearly missed. He wasn't always the gentlest. We still joke about the time he nearly ripped Chuck's leg clean off. But he was definitely the sweetest, and I think we're all going to miss everything about him, even the trail of drool he'd leave behind wherever he went. I miss him a lot, actually. More than I thought I would. I wonder if he misses me, too. I wish I was able to tell him he was a real good boy just one more time. I think he'd like that. Oh, sweet baby! No, we're friends! Vasilis, I need you to crouch onto the ground and put your hand out. Let him sniff you. Creature cowers away from you. Hey, it's okay. We aren't gonna hurt you anymore, alright? Look, I even have your collar. You dropped it, didn't you? why don't I help you put it back on? And then after we can get you a treat or something because, you're a real good boy. Best friend, best friend, best friend, best friend, best friend, best friend. Look at the baby! Ah! Dog, 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 dog. Seriously? You're telling me this entire place is covered in dog slobber? Also the in his hair, in their hair. Oh! I love the little words in everybody's hair. Aw, boss, he likes you. Yeah, can it. Down, boy, get down. Now what? We take the, oh. I was gonna say we take Goodest Boy with us, but Goodest Boy is leading us somewhere. Okay, nothing of use in there. Dog. Dog. Dog, where are you taking us? Wait, I should save. He's so good. You know what would make this better? If I could pet the dog. Good dog. He's so good. He's so good. Good dog. His little floppy ear. Bye, dog. I love you. Lucky, you're perfect. Aw, what a sweetie. Now, maybe... Lucky has been added to the characters in the menu. Dog, 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 dog. No! Hey, Lucky. You holding up okay? Arf. That's good. You're a good dog. I'll accept it. This is acceptable. This is an acceptable compromise. Dog, 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 dog. The garage shutters have handles. Do you think? I really gave it my all. Before we go out there, though, hospital bed, the sheets are tucked in tidy. Okay. You attempt to open the door manually by grabbing the handle. Doesn't budge in the slightest, no matter how hard you pull. Okay. You attempt to open the door manually, doesn't budge. Also doesn't budge. What? Voss? Thank you for the lurk, Cyril. Of course it didn't work. Of course it didn't. Why would it? This is fucking stupid. Feels so fucking stupid. Like, why am I so intent on trying to get out anyways? We leave the hospital and then what? Is anything even going to be different out there? It's not like anyone here even seems to give a shit anyways. So why should I even care? None of this has fucking mattered, has it? Vasilis, you're getting worked up. Of course I'm getting worked up! We've been running around all night for nothing! Nothing we do leads to anywhere. We're just running around being errand boys, and for what? We're just gonna be stuck here forever, aren't we? Who cares? Who even cares about getting out? Who gives a shit about anything at this point? Why do I even fucking bother? What was that? Basilis, can we give you a hug, please? I understand you're frustrated. Closet key! Closet key! This is my key for my janitor's closet. But how did it get all the way over here? It was in my cleaning cart last I had it. Boss? Hold on, my internet was being a little weird. Are we good? It looks good. It looks fine. Huh? Do you, feel better now? Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to make a scene. Hello. It's right, Vasilis. We understand. I empathize with you. It's difficult to be stuck in one place for so long. But don't lose hope yet. I'm sure we'll find our way. How about your key? Maybe we'll find something that can help us in that closet. Actually, yeah. I should have some more keys for things in my closet. You know, assuming they didn't all move around too. Guess there's only one way to find out. Let's go to the closet. Lucky, 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 lucky. Dog, 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 dog. He's still doing good. Okay. Quick save. Because we're constantly saving. That's maternity ward. It was the 7th floor? Yeah. Yeah. Awful wiggly out. And then we're going to the 5th floor? Sometimes I can remember where things are. 6th floor. Okay. You know what? I was only one off. We'll take it. I guess we did start the game on the 6th floor, so that makes sense. Ooh! What's that? I'm not reading this around to other people. Oh, is it your diary? I would give you a bite of my sub and cookies. Smiley, you're precious. Vicarious treats. We'll get some very bad food ASMR going up in here. I wouldn't do that to y'all. As somebody with misophonia? I got issues with sounds. I've only ever seen it written, never actually heard it said. I can't do that to other people. I read that as chew on my ears, and I was like, Smiley, not here. I do love me some miso soup. It's like meese, you know, the multiple moose. Misophonia? That makes sense. Smiley. Maybe later, okay? Alright? Listen. Yeah, no, I appreciate the art of ASMR, but I think as a whole it just makes my skin crawl. It makes my brain itchy in the worst possible way. Also, we got the roof access key. This is the key to the roof? Who's yelling at me? Oh, it's Devo. It's just a little guy. Raccoon chewing. Love it. I mean, to each their own. Devo wants hands. Devo wants my hands. He wants the pets. I'm leaning over a little bit to pet his face. Because that's what the baby wants. Hi, little man. My little guy. My sweet little baby. Wow! This noise! Oh my goodness. Okay. I pat the baby. Huh? Hey, no, you need to stop. I can pet you, but you're not gonna claw at my chair. That's not how this works, little man. Do you want to come here? Hold on a second. Come here. Devo. Ow! Oh, God! Okay. Okay. Can you lay down, sir? I have a Devo in my lap. No, you need to lay down. I need those hands. Yes, I love you lots. Sweet little guy. Put your butt down. Alright. How are we supposed to leave from the roof? Oh, sorry, that was mean. It's something at least. And it's outside. Devo, if you don't lay down, I'm gonna kick you out of my lap. At the very least, it'll let us see what's out there. Hold on. Ugh. No. Devo, you have to let go. You're as bad as Mork was with his claws. Lay down. Why are you like this? Food should be here in a half an hour. Okay. Sorry, Devo had to get kicked out of my lap. He was being kinda naughty. Okay. It'll let us see what's out there. And if anyone else is out there, I guess... Yeah, I'd like to see what's out there. Also, sorry, I now have cat fur all over my face. Ugh! I love my boy, but he is shedding, and it's horrible. My goodness. Alright. Roof time. Roof, 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 roof. What that? Hey! What that? A strange gate blocks the way to the roof. Trying to touch it results in a slight shock to your hand. Of course, nothing's ever easy. Something tells me we gotta go see Highlandrix again. Yeah. These symbols are card suits. Yeah. Well, if they're cards, he might be able to help with that, right? Actually, yeah. Maybe he could help. Gotta go see Highlandrix. Mr. Vanderkorg. That's up here. Yeah. Buds! Amigos! Compadres! I thought we discussed this. When you're ready to play, take a seat. Wait! Baby's here! No, I know we're not, we're not here for that. Do you like, we forgot to read Lucky's character profile. We'll do that next. Have some playing cards we can borrow? Or something like that? Preferably one of each suit? You're not after my aces, are ya? I don't know. If it helps, we've technically already got one. Make that 3. Yeah, I'd be number 4. Hardy har har. What do you need my aces for? You're nothing if not punny. It's one of the reasons why we love you. Cause I don't fucking know. This place keeps demanding things of me. Fat chance! You're not getting my cards. What if we traded you something for them? Like what? I don't know. What do you want? I want something special. That's not very specific. Doesn't have to be. You've helped a few folks. A few of the folks here, haven't you? Jostled them around a bit and justified it after by making them feel better? Give me something special from them. And in return, you can borrow some of my cards. It's the only way I'm willing to trade with you. We have a deal? Doesn't seem like you're giving us much of an alternative. That's the spirit. Baby, 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 baby. Hey, Ozzy? Was that his name? Not shark friend, fish friend. Hey, Mallory? Can I ask a favor? Huh? Do you, have something you could give us? Maybe? Huh? You're not trying to steal Catsby from me, are you? No, of course not. We just need, like...
Well...
It's that guy over there. We need to get somewhere, but he won't let us unless we give him something special. Well, you can't have Catsby! He's mine! It's fine. I'm sure it doesn't have to be Catsby. Do you maybe, have anything else? Oh. I saw you open my puzzle box earlier when I was looking around. You can have that if you want. Really? It's pretty nicely carved. That might actually work. Thanks, Mallory. It helps. See you later. I wonder if we could give the book that we have in the closet? Gus, that was his name. Gus, you don't have anything special we can have, do you? Special how? You know, like, important special? Sorry, dudes, the only thing important to me is food. Right, well, worth a shot. I mean, I'll still go talk to everybody, because I think it's worth it, but I'm keeping that book in mind. Hey, pals. Hey, friends. Sorry to disturb the happy couple. Just, you don't happen to have any wedding favors for us, do you? Wedding favors? How do you mean? It's, a bit of a lot to explain. We were trying to collect some special objects to maybe help us get out of here. I don't know if I have much I can give you. Reading is difficult for me right now. Likewise, very sorry. Maybe if you go looking, you can find something Dreckeride left behind. They're always forgetting stuff, so it shouldn't be hard. What? Hey, not true. It's totally true. Remember your proposal? You set up that nice picnic and everything, but when the time came to propose, you got on one knee and realized you left the ring box back at the picnic blanket? Listen, it was, I was just so excited. I wasn't thinking about it. Oh. Actually, I think that helps. Can we get that from the picnic? I'm concerned. Is the thing? Who else can we see? Don't feel like jumping down an elevator shaft. Sure. Can I go back downstairs? Right. Hey, I have a kind of weird request. Likewise. Oh? You've been in that little labyrinth already. I think I may have misplaced something in there earlier when I was keeping an eye on you lot. I've looked for it back and forth, but well, it appears even some things are still a mystery to me. Would you mind terribly helping me look for it? Oh, sure, yeah. I think we can do that. Is, Emerald going to help us? Sorry, dudes. No can do. I've gotten lost in that place way too many times already. I'm not risking it again. Alright, fair, I guess. Well, will you help me? We'll help! Sure, we can get it. Actually, do you mind if I sit this one out? There's something I just remembered, and it's quite important. So I'd like to make sure everything is in order. Reggie, what are you doing? Get those responsibilities done, stars. Thank you for the lurk, friend. So I'll be right back. Without us? Yes, but I'll be okay. And I'm sure I'll be back by the time you find Grindel's item. So I'll take my leave now. And see you all in a bit, okay? Reggie, you can't leave! So... what are we looking for? It's a pendant. The kind that clasps shut. I'm normally so good about keeping it safe, I can't believe I misplaced it. Sorry, I was taking a drink. So I appreciate you helping me look for it.
Okay.
Thank you. Pendant? Yeah, alright. We'll see what we can do. Emerald? You don't have, anything special we can have, do you? Sorry, champ. Right now, all I've got is the clothes on my back and the sketch pad in my hands. Alright, thanks anyway. Okay,
right.
So... Well, here we go again. Never was a fan of mazes. Oh, hey, it's not so bad. We got each other, right? And a maze underwater is better than a maze of sulfur fire. Maze of sulfur... Did you just make a Deathstalkers reference? Maybe. I, noticed in your janitor's closet earlier, there was a music player on one of the shelves with the Deathstalkers case on it. So I figured the reference wouldn't be lost. Here I thought I was the only person who listened to them. Nice to know I'm not the only person here with good tastes. Cute. Alright, let's do a quick save. I hate that Reggie is gone. Can I go... Okay. I could teleport back to the beginning of the maze, or consider Jesus. Basilla's hit for a lot there. Nice. I probably should have had him attack them attack the other ones. Sorry. It's fine. We'll just work down the line. We got this. Get them! Got some money, got some experience. And we're looking for a pendant, which I assume we will see the little game gal. Yeah. Mary being weird about being born. Let's just get through it. Let's go. Look at him go. Hi, Nem! Thank you for the contribution to Wholesome Week. Y'all were real dang close. Sorry, I keep, like, leaning in, and I don't know why. The jellies would. This makes sense. It makes perfect sense. How are you doing, Nem? How's it going? Sorry, I'm, like, repositioning my headphones. I realized I should probably, like, keep an ear out for when food gets delivered. I'm sure I'll get a text message as well, but, you know. Alright. Thank you. We're getting pretty close to the end from what Arcade says. Yeah. Also, thank you. I'm very happy with how the model's working out, honestly. I know I mentioned it a little bit before, but it's been very nice. Taking off some of the pressure of, like, not having my webcam active. I want to use my webcam. I like it when my friends can see me, but this is a good placeholder. Jelly. But I'm glad you're doing well. Good. Arcade. Question. Do we have to do battles to find the pendant, or is it actually in the maze somewhere? Just so I know if I need to do battles, or if just looking is fine. Oh, wait! Basilla's is not doing great. Okay. That's what I thought, but I figured I would ask just in case. Mary, do you want to use the strawberry milk on Bacillus, please? Thanks. Up is where we came from, so we're gonna head down here. Can I escape? Okay, cool. And it does get rid of the encounter. Nice. Silver pendant. This must be what Grindel was talking about. We gotta get it back to him. So, you like Deathstalkers, right? Have you ever seen them live? Live? Oh gosh, I could only dream of that. Have you?
No.
Nah. I was just wondering cause, never mind, it's nothing. I'm just being nosy. Okay, jellyfish, get out of my way. It's like, earlier I was fine doing as many encounters as we could come across, you know? But if it wasn't necessary in this instance, then I'd rather skip it. Not a marshmallow burger. No, no, no. Hey, Grindel. Grindel, is this your pendant? Yes, yes, that's it. Thank you so much. I swear I looked everywhere for it. Oh, that's right. You wanted to ask me something, didn't you? Oh, we actually need something kinda like that pendant, I think. It's, this whole thing that this guy we know... Oh? Well, you can have the pendant itself if you need it. I only really care about the picture inside. You mean that? Oh, wow, that was easy. Thank you. Can we, see it, maybe? The picture? No, sorry, it's a bit too personal. But maybe one day. Right, of course. Sorry.
Oh.
Welcome back, Reggie. Oh, you're back.
Right.
See, I told you I wouldn't be long. Everything is under control. Are things alright over there? Yeah, we're good. Just finishing up, actually. Then it all worked out in the end. I guess we'll go show Highlandrix what we have now. I don't want to go give this to Highlandrix just yet. Also, yeah, our boyfriend's back and everything is perfect and fine and great. Who else? Mallory had her box, right? And she was on the 6th floor? So... Oh, was she on the 3rd? Right, 6th floor is Mary's room, and it was the other room that was associated with Mallory. I want my cat room. Okay. Box! Mallory's empty puzzle box. You know something? This is a pretty nice box. Hope it's nice enough for Highlandrix. Can I... Voss? I've gotta use the bathroom again. My eye patch is getting loose. I need to readjust it. Actually, do you mind helping me? Wait, I'm right here. I can fix it for you. Reggie is like, excuse me! There is only me! No! It's okay. Voss will help me. We'll be out in a bit, okay? Huh? Hey, Mary, you good? Mary, what was that all about? Are you okay?
Well...
Voss? I'm too scared to look. It's why I asked to use the bathroom the first time, too. I tried to fix it, but I I can't. Huh? What are you talking about? I'm gonna take off the eye patch, okay? Can you tell me if it's leaking? Mary? Well? We goopy. Arcade's over here like, what could possibly be happening that I didn't write? What's it look like? Is it bad? It's not leaking, is it? Please, please don't tell me it's leaking again. Vasilis, it's okay, right? My eye is okay, right? I mean... Lame King. Lame King.
Huh?
Really? Yes, really? Mary, are you crazy? How long has it been like this? We have to show this to Dr. Tetra.
No!
No, don't! You can't!
Huh?
Why not? What do you... Vasilis! I don't want to be here anymore! I can't be getting worse. I can't let him see me like this. Haven't you seen how much I want to leave? If we start having another problem, it just means I'm going to be stuck here longer. My baby. I was feeling better. I was, honest. So I can't. Mary, you know you can't hide something like this. Yeah. I know. I'm just having my own little breakdown. I just like you did, right? Yeah, that's right. You don't have to explain it. I understand. Here, let me help you put the eye patch back on. Okay. Do you feel better now? I think so. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to freak out like that. It's fine. We all have our moments, right? Though, I do think you should tell Dr. Tetra about this eventually. Mary! I'm worried about my baby. I don't think eyeballs should be leaking rainbows.
Wow.
Hi, Reggie, we're back. It's fine. I presume everything is alright? Yep, all better. Sorry, Dr. Tetra, I was just a little embarrassed. I hope you're not upset.
No.
No, I promise I'm not upset.
Oh!
Oh, I'm really glad about that. Let's go then. Sorry to hold us all up. Concern. My order is on the way. It'll be here soon. Like 10-ish minutes or so. I am excited. I am excited. Yeah. Vasilis is like, I do not understand these lovebirds at all. Not in the slightest. 6th floor is the closet. Is the janitor's closet. And we can... No. Okay. So we have a pendant. We have the box. We have... You know, Iroh called me one of his closest friends. And Iroh doesn't just say that about anyone. Really knows how to make someone feel special, huh? Precious. Okay, we've been that. You know, it's funny. I noticed while walking around here that my arm... Oh, wait, we've read that one. Right, we gotta get the ring box. And Lucky! Right! Okay, before we do that, I would like to buy some things. Can I sell some stuff, actually? Sell the mask, because we don't need it anymore. And... actually, what does the electrolyte water do? MP. Okay, but I do want to buy some... oh. Food is going to be here. I could get a lot of these. And I think I will. Let's do 5 of those.
Safe travels.
And then not lemonade. Fuck. Sometimes I click through too fast. It's fine. Okay. We've got some more strawberry milks. We got some bandages. We've got all of the stuff that we need. And we do need to go talk to Lucky. Nope, not here. Level 7. I know where I'm going. And then downstairs. Food is here. Let me go grab it, and I will be right back. Okay? Okay. Okay. Subway. Subway. Again, thank you, Smiley, for din-dins. I appreciate it oh so much. Alright. We want to go to the first floor. 'Cause dog. I need you to try the marshmallow burger. Tell me how it is. We have to know. Hi, Lucky. How do I communicate this to you? Arf. We need something from you, buddy. Something you might like, but, you wouldn't mind parting with it for us. What am I doing? This dog's not gonna understand that. Woof. Where are we going, dog? Do we get to steal a portion of the skeleton friend? Yeah, I think I know what you're getting at. Alright, hold on. Roof. Gotta steal a leg bone, right? The skeleton? Yeah, he's still got some more bones to give. Received a skeleton. He's missing a leg. Oh, it's very good. Hi, Farts. There's a Farley cat underneath the desk, rubbing up against my legs. Hello, buddy. Alright, it's this bone, right? You like this one? Raouf.
Hey.
What? Hey! We've only taken 3 parts of the skeleton. Lucky, that was supposed to... Wait, Voss. He dropped this. We got Lucky's charm. Hi. You know, yeah, this works. This would probably be better than trying to trade a skeleton leg anyways. Good dog. Arf. You're a good dog. Okay, let's do a heal and a quick save. And... we have to go back to the other building. And go to floor... 8? Seven. Floor 7 for Minspella's ring box. It's a 7 and... wait. Okay, yeah. I remember, and it's this one. No. I know which one it is. Immediately gets it wrong. I think this was the diner one? Yeah. And then... it's fine. We'll find it. There's only so many rooms on this floor. Here we go. Don't really need those. Opening the lid reveals a few napkins inside, but removing some of the napkins, you find something hidden at the bottom. Sounds delightful. We got the ring box. Seems like it's a nice quality. He might trade this, or trade for this, right? Alright. Okay. Back down to Highlendrix. We can save just before we get there. There is a safe spot there. So I'm not too worried about that. Yawns. Sorry. It is a sleepy day. I've done a lot today already. They'll call us a deck. Ooh. Ooh. Got something for me? Yes, we handed over the puzzle box. Oh, let me get a look at this. Is it good?
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. You did real good. Here, you can take this. It's a fair trade. Honest. We got the Ace of Diamonds. Take care of it, won't ya? Got other thing for you. We handed over the silver pendant. Let's see. Yeah, this is pretty nice. There was a picture in here before. It'd have been perfect if there was still, or if it still was. But even alone, it's still good. Good enough for one of these. Ace of Spades. He is a weirdo, but I love him. We handed over Lucky's charm. I still haven't looked at Lucky's character profile. What's this? Some kind of good luck charm. Something like that. Charming. And shiny. Yeah, I'll take it. And you can take this. Ace of clubs. One less leaf, but a clover nonetheless. While I am thinking about it. Was there anyone else we hadn't checked? I don't think so. Lucky was once the goodest boy in the whole hospital. A therapy dog. He worked tirelessly, bringing smiles to patients and staff alike. He is remembered fondly by those he met. What a dog wouldn't give to hear them call him a good boy one last time. I got sub and cookie here. Listen. It's here. It has arrived. And it's perfect and I love it. Also, I like that the customer name shows up as Treat Stream. Like there's a receipt slapped on the outside of the bag, and it says customer name treat stream. It's just very, very funny to me. But thank you, Smiley. It is true. They know what it is now. Hold on a second. Let me... There we go. Okay. I appreciate it, and this is gonna be a very good dinner, and I'm very excited. I might snack on some cookie while we're here. Yes! I want to be able to send treats to friends more often than I currently do. But it's nice! It's so sweet! I like it. I don't know. It's just nice to give things and to receive things, and just... It's food from my friends, and that makes me happy. You know? I need to give the last item to Highlandrix. That's what's going on. I interrupted everything to look at Lucky's profile, but it was important. Last thing. Handed over ring box. What's this? No. No. I won't trade you for this. It's not even worth enough for a trade. I will take it off your hands, though. Oh, come on. Now you're just being obnoxious. You need something better if you want that ace card. Should we ask Minnie? Where is... I gotta go back and talk to Minspella, right? Okay. Okay. This is fine. This is fine.
Well...
Hey, I'm sorry to ask, but do you possibly have anything you could give us? Like, directly? Huh? I don't understand. Is everything alright? Really. This guy has something that might help us get out of here, but he refuses to give it to us unless we trade him. But he's really picky about what he's willing to trade for, and I'm kind of running out of things to give him. I see. And because of this, you might not ever be able to get back to your home? Over a trade? I mean, when you put it that way. Well, if that's the case, you can try trading him this. Oh. Oh. Oh, we got her. Minspella, you're joking. Don't you need this? I thought you went crazy because you didn't have this. Did I miss something? Well, not having it only bothered me so much because I was no longer with my love. But now my love is here with me. I don't need it anymore now that we're reunited. Oh, Minnie. I'll get her a new one somehow. Well, as long as you're sure. Thanks. Does mean a lot you do this to help us. Everyone should be able to see their loved ones again. So, I hope this helps you see yours. Ah! I'm sorry I ever said anything bad about you, Minspella. Oh, very sweet. Aww. Okay, now we can do this. Got something for me? And that's the way the cookie crumbles. I knew this thing would find its way into my hands again. What's with that look? I just think it's kind of fucked for you to take it, that's all. Why? Does it make you feel bad? Because it's clearly not that bad if you're willing to give it back to me. Come on, cheer up, angry antlers. My antlers aren't even out right now.
Wonderful.
Look, it all works out. See? Because now you get to have this. Ace of Hearts. Feel better now? Just a little. Hey, that last card. We got every suit now, right? I believe so. Shall we head back to the roof and see if this works? Yeah. This better work. Let's go! Yeah, does it? Wait. I thought haberdasheries did hats, not suits. Am I incorrect? I very well could be. Upstairs. How do I get upstairs? Upstairs. I get upstairs by going on the stairs. Imagine. I could have saved up here. It's fine.
Well...
That's a haberdashery, okay. Haberdasheries do haberds. You're right. I'm sorry. My bad. Alright. Here goes nothing. You place the cards before the gate. That's it! We can get to the roof now? It'd appear that way. It's weird. I almost feel kind of nervous now that we finally made it all the way up here. Here goes nothing, I guess. Save and do not overwrite it. Okay. Okay. Okay, here, look. Put it on save file 7. So it is far away from my others. Is this a point of no return? Fruity. Hey! It's a point of no return. Really? Things will be different from this point on. Continue to the roof. Ooh! While this is happening, I'm gonna get a cookie. I'm sorry you can hear it. Oh god! I have to tear open the bag! I'm sorry! You see it too, right? Yes, I'm seeing it. What are we seeing?
Right.
Ooh! Hold on. Okay. It really is the whole world that's like this, huh? Cookies, you have to move. I know that at this point we were expecting it, but to actually see it before my eyes. Oh, jeez. What now? Should we just head back inside? Maybe if we talk to some more people, we could... You guys can go back inside. I think I just want to sit out here for a bit. Are you sure? What if... Vasilis, can I speak to you inside for a second? Huh? Oh, sure. You like the crinkles? Okay, I'm glad that they weren't too obnoxious. It's not sound that I usually have on... Sorry, I have to... Wiping my nose. And my model keeps twitching. Before you talk to him, take this. Huh? Wiggle! We got Dr. Tetra's office key. I saw him drop it earlier when we regrouped, but I decided to hold on to it. Arcade? Are we? Are we headed in the right direction for a possible true ending? I wasn't sure what I should do with them, and I'm still a bit nervous to talk to Dr. Tetra. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's very exciting. That's very exciting. So I thought I'd give them to you to take care of. I hope that's okay. Oh. Mary and Dr. Tetra have left your party? Fuck. She doesn't seem like she wants to talk right now. That's fair, but my baby. Yeah, now we're all by our lonesome. That does mean I could potentially go read a book, though. Consider. Is everything okay? Basilis, can you come here for a second? Listen! My I'm about to get stabbed senses are tingling. I'm gonna show you a picture, okay? Okay. It's you. And, some teenager. We got in trouble with the boss. Oh no. Yes. This is a picture of me and Mary. Ooh.
Huh?
What? That woman sitting on the roof is not Mary. What? What do you mean the person outside isn't Mary? I mean, it's possible she's some other person named Mary. But she's not our Mary. She's not the Mary who's been in the hospital with a mysterious illness. Our Mary is the girl in the picture. That Mary out there... I don't know who that person is. That is your wife, Reginald!
No.
That doesn't make any sense. I found her outside her room. She talked about being sick. You even helped her during her seizure. It's only because I knew the proper procedures. But who knows if that medicine even did anything for her. She could have just been faking it. And those things you mentioned, they aren't really hard lies to come up with, are they? Especially if you're familiar with the hospital. Yeah, Reggie, that's an incredibly rude way to be talking about your wife. Also, TK, hi! Wholesome Week goal has been met. We will have to plan out Wholesome Week. Woo! Hi, friend! Let's get some wholesome! Let's do it! How are you doing, TK? Thank you for the contribution and for getting us to that goal. I'm gonna have to plan out a Wholesome Week sometime soon. And a celebration bubble. Thank you, Arcade. Awesome! This is delightful. I'm very excited about this. Hi, Farts! Yeah, how's it going? How are you doing?
Well,
I wanted to tell you when we first met up, but there wasn't a time where you weren't around that girl. I think she's one of them, Facilis. Spirits who wander around here. I mean, after all, you've seen the way she talks to and about them, haven't you? Tired? You lifted heavy stuff? I hope you're taking it easy for the rest of the evening. And drinking plenty of water to help with the achy muscles later. The way she changed topics with the nurse earlier, the way she knew Emerald's tag belonged to her, the way she was concerned over that mouse from before. Did she behave similarly when it was just you two together? I mean, she did convince me to get one of them food, and she did act a bit strongly to some stuff earlier. She talks to them so jovially. It's like they're old friends. Who's to say they're not all in on it? In on what, Reggie?
Huh?
In on it? I think she is the reason we're here, Vasilis. The reason things have become so bizarre ever since the lights went out. Those monsters we fought before, that you fought before, perhaps they were all pointless in the end. When the real person you were supposed to direct your actions to was her all along. I don't like this. I don't like it when Mary and Reggie are fighting. Dr. Tetra, what are you suggesting? Those spirits were only able to be convinced after you had attacked them, right? I think you have to fight her. And once that battle's over, it might finally unlock that last piece of the puzzle we need to turn the world back to normal. Come on, no way! That's way too extreme. Hi, Emmy. Can't we just talk to her? It's not like she's all out of control like everyone else has been. How are you doing, friend? How's it going? Vasilis, come on now. You must know better than that. Right? They're not supposed to fight. They're supposed to kiss. This is wrong. Arcade, why have you done? Why have you done this? You can't do this to me. I know you warned me in as vague of terms as you possibly could, but I hate it. It's very good. I hate it. Reggie's telling me I have to do a hit. I have to do a hit on Mary, and not in the nice, lovely kind. I have to do a smack. She had wanted to change things back to normal, she would have done so by now. And if she hasn't been honest with you this entire time, how can you trust her now? I wouldn't say she's not been honest. Not been honest. Yeah, not in a cute way, in the mean way. In the, I am...
No.
Silas, do you think I feel good about this? That I want to attack her? Yeah, like, hit on, as in, like, flirt. I can't flirt with Mary. He doesn't want me to flirt with Mary. He wants me to do a smack. He wants me to do a hit. There's nothing left for us to do. Yeah, and the mafia, we got... I like that takeout can mean one of three things. Getting food, taking someone out on a date, or murder. Hit on is very similar to that. A rufflecopter. This is miserable and horrible. It is true. It is, with Reggie, it is all three. Okay. We're at the roof. We've been everywhere. We've exhausted nearly every possible way out, except for her. Everything we've done has led us here. Still, if you have any other idea, I'd love to hear it. So we're just supposed to ambush her? Is that it? Oh, not me. You will, though.
Hey.
Reginald! You can't do this! What? Why just me? Think I don't notice how uneasy she is around me? Not to mention the way she clings to you. Should be on guard if I'm around. But not if it's just you. That's... Dr. Tetra, I don't know if I can do that. It might be your only choice. I know. It's a lot. Need some air? Yeah, maybe a little. Well, the door's right behind you. No, wait, no, wait, no, wait, no, wait, no, wait, no! I get Dr. Tetra, what are you saying? It's not just that I don't want to believe it. Something here just doesn't add up to me. But I've never seen the real Mary before. Maybe this is the wrong girl after all. Her eye patch was on the wrong eye. I mean, they're different ladies, okay? We can say that. That's known. But do I really have any way of proving otherwise? Yes, we have key. Okay, sure, we don't know which side the eye patch is supposed to be on, but I'm saying both the ladies have eye patches on different eyes, so probably different ladies. Yeah, we can do book stuff. And we can go hang out in the maternity ward, because it's just us. So I'm gonna do it. We're gonna save back here. Listen, I paid attention. Maybe she swapped so she could see better in the low light conditions below deck. Maybe. Possibly. Okay. I wanted the 6th floor. It was cookie sounds, I'm sorry. It's just the crinkle of the paper, right? You can't hear me eating. Okay. I gotta go to floor 6. So we can read the book. And then we have to find Reggie's office. I know you like the crinkles. It was just the crinkles though, right? A diary. Yes, I would like to read it. Okay. Look, they're very good cookies, okay? We got the crinkles and we got the Alright, let me drink some water real fast. Okay, where the fuck did I come to work? I can't get anything done like this. Too frustrated to focus. Should've just bought the damn ticket. It's not like anyone would have cared if I showed up alone. Except for me, I guess. Go to the concert, you goober! Except for me, I guess. I have to settle for listening to their music while I work instead of seeing them live. Whatever. I'm saving money and making money. It's better in the end, right? When I took my lunch break today, a bunch of white coats and blue scrubs moved away from me. I'm a sweet baby. My sweet baby. Celeste. They were sitting at the table and then conveniently had to go back to work when I sat down. Yeah, it's a very Ebony Darkness Dimension Raven way of you, Bacillus. I prefer to eat alone, but am I not supposed to feel offended? Thinking they're so much better than everyone else. It's so annoying. It's actually good they left in the end. Why do I want to eat next to a bunch of obnoxious losers like them anyway? Excuse me, but also the cute raven-haired guy came back to the hospital again today. Is it Croven? It's Croven. Is our sweet little baby Croven. I never recognize Patience, but it's kind of hard not to notice him when he's here so often. I guess some people really are accident prone after all. He looked real bent out of shape this time. His elbow was facing the entirely wrong direction. It's actually kind of off-putting to look at. But really, I'm writing this because I actually spoke to him today. Ah! Technically, he's the one who spoke to me. I was called to the lobby to clean another spill. While mopping, I was tapped on the shoulder. Him and his disfigured arm were right behind me. Please. Him and his disfigured arm were right behind me, asking for help finding a trash can to throw soda out. Wondered how he could speak so effortlessly when his arm was all fucked up like that. But then his friends came over and told him not to run off like that. Every time he's come here, he's always been with them. Just a bit of a snap. Must be nice to have friends you can count on like that. Thought keeping a journal would help. Like, I have someone to talk to, but it just feels like I'm talking to myself. Talking to myself is all I know how to do anymore. Talk to myself and I pretend like someone's there, and I think it's actually really fucking pathetic of me. Oh. If I saw someone else doing that, I know I'd think it's so stupid. Yet here I am doing the same thing. Fucking hypocrite. What else can I do? I don't have any friends to talk to. I don't have anyone to talk to. What is my life? Go to work and come home and sit alone and I do nothing and then I come into fucking work again. Maybe if I had real friends I wouldn't feel this way, but it's not like there's anyone here worth getting to know. Bunch of stuck-up medical school brats who think they're God's gift. Why would I want to use any of my time on them? That's why I gotta talk to myself. I'm my own imaginary friend and the only one incapable of letting me down. So then, why the fuck am I so fucking miserable all the time? Why do I even bother? Oh! Oh! I just want to give Vasilis a hug. Okay. Well, we need to go. Gotta go find Reggie's office, which we don't technically know where it is. Where Dr. Tetra's office keys. Keys to unlocking the 8th floor office area. Okay. Look, I remember to look at descriptions. Unlocked the door! Okay. The office of Dr. William Maelstrom. Can I go in here? Nah. Ursula Carlotta? Carlotte? Reginald Tetra! But before we do that, Rune Oakvale! Okay. Can I... Why is the door ajar? Hey, Rune? Collection of files and binders on the shelf. Damn, Rune, you work like this? Rune's desk. Oh! Babies. Little babies. Oh, look at Rio. What a mess. What the hell were you even doing in here? Sweet little pictures. There appears to be what looks like a homemade CD sitting on the corner of the desk. Aww. Strip of tape across the front reads, "Jams for you to work to." It's signed with the initials VB. Cute! Okay, we can't... excuse me. We can't look at anything else on the desk unless... Yeah, no. Okay. Oop. Last try. Okay. That's precious, though. Alright, we unlocked the door. I'm scared. There's Polaroid pictures taped to the cabinet. Amongst them... Ugh, white coats. Collection of files and binders. Okay. Among Us. A printer, despite the power outage, it feels warm somehow. Unfinished note on Dr. Tetra's desk. Monday, asked to reschedule a meeting. Refused my request. They were surprised I wasn't present. Asked where I was during said meeting. No response given. Tuesday, another day, another problem. Dr. Tetra's computer. This is still on somehow? It's password protected. Maybe it's... Oh. Maybe it's Among Us. I wanted to go... Oh, that wasn't it. Your most favorite person... Is it brother? Do I know that? Okay, so it is... Listen. I was gonna... It is screwy, the screw. I wasn't sure if it was a first last name situation, but then I was gonna poke around the office a little more. Is there a space, is the question. Probably not. Yeah, I was gonna go look at those, but then I had accidentally clicked on the computer already. But hey! Now what? Well, we leave the computer alone for a minute. Pictures on the wall show Dr. Tetra beside a variety of his patients. We do need to talk about how, inappropriate it is that, Reggie is treating his wife here at the hospital. One of the picture frames is empty, but in the one right next to it, it's just like the picture he showed me. I like the guest art that you have here as well. Oh, okay. I'm just concerned about the conflict of interest and you know, the possible ethical issues that could arise from that. But you know what? It's okay. I trust them. Patient charts. Oh. I am doing so much illegal right now. No one has to know, right? I want to look at all of them? Let's start at the bottom. Oh! What? Hey, this is the girl! Same girl from the picture Dr. Tetra showed me. He said this was Mary. Why would he lie about that? Unless I have to tell Mary about this. I didn't activate the printer. Okay, but I want to look at the other ones too. Patient listed here appears to be a young adult. He has messy white hair with black tips and nervous brown eyes. There's a note referencing concerns of anxiety with the patient. Patient listed here appears to be an adult. He has deep brown hair with yellow streak and antennas sticking out the top of his head. Patient listed here appears to be a young adult. She has long straight black hair and striking red eyes. There's a note that mentions a verbal tic. Patient listed here appears to be a teenager, veering on young adult age. He's got messy brown hair and pink eyes. There's a note that his emergency contact is his mom. Mary. It's like everything's been redacted. I saw that eyeball! I saw that eyeball! You can't get that past me! A printer with fresh paper printed. People generally seem to hold a common belief that it is better to die than to suffer. At this point, I think I would rather suffer than die. After all, I've gotten so far. Dying would mean all my work went right down the drain. Feels like it's been so long here. Coming back here again and again. I know I still have the others, all the chances in the world, but this is almost like insurance. Because if all else fails, this one has to work. It has to. Can't see a way in which it doesn't. I don't want to see a way in which it doesn't. There I go again. Couldn't help it. Let my emotions get the better of me. You'd think I'd have learned by now, but if I did, then maybe I wouldn't be here to begin with. Despite whatever emotions I have, though, I know it's a good thing to be here. Because you're here. Anywhere where you are is a good place to be. That's what keeps me going. When I have to do it again, because you're here, and every time I get to see you again is just as wonderful as the first time. She's scared of me now. Of course, I did it again. How do I apologize after saying something like that? I don't know if I can, especially when she won't even look at me. And even worse still, I'll have to carry forward on that promise, as if I don't have enough to apologize for already. But it's okay. It's okay, because if it works, it will be worth it. The pain will be worth it, Mary, and I promise I won't let you endure it as long as I have. I just hope you can see that when the time comes. Well, it's working, just as it's supposed to. You have gotten so much sicker. I think I'm supposed to be happy about that. I hope you're okay. I hope you're not miserable. I hope you won't hate me for long. I didn't have any other choice. Couldn't have you leave me again. And I know you'll see that. I know you will. Because you're such an understanding person. And I sincerely hope after all of it that I'll be better at understanding you. That was all I ever wanted, and I'm sorry I still don't. But that can change, and it will. Reggie! I have almost everything I need, and with the state you're in now, it should be easy to convince everyone you died of your illness when the time comes. And after that, it'll be me and you again. People don't get second chances. Not really. Then here I am, a seemingly infinite amount, and I still fail all of them. But after this, it won't be a second chance anymore. We won't have to go through this anymore. It'll be a new beginning. And you'll see why I had to do it. Why I had to do this for you. Because it has always been for you. I did it only because you mean so much to me. You will see everything I have done, how many times I have done it, and I know you will understand. You have to. Please, please understand. It will have been worth it if, it will have been worth it all if you do. Dr. Tetra, what is this? Uh-oh! I really need to tell Mary about this. Great time for the content warnings to come up. Oh, holy shit. Okay, we have to go tell Mary? Hi, Reggie. I definitely didn't just go through your shit. We'll save here. Right! Maternity ward. Thank you. I mentioned it. I had remembered it. And then I fucking forgot. I appreciate the reminder because I would have just blasted on through. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Finding out that Reggie is Reggie. Reggie continues to be incredibly Reggie. It's on the other, in the other building. I know what I'm doing. Look! No, I seriously, genuinely appreciate it. That's one reason why I try to express what I'm doing or what I am thinking at the time. So that when I do inevitably forget, somebody out there can remind me. I bet Dr. Reginald Tetra was actually Reggie Tetra the entire time. It is true, we do love him for being him. Okay. Oh! Lucky scared me. Welcome back! I know. Listen, I know it's crazy, but hear me out. What if Reggie, our dear lovely Reggie, was actually Reggie the whole time? Yeah. What if? Imagine. Welcome back, stars. Good job getting those dishes done. Maternity ward is this way. Right. Yes, I would like to press the buzzer. Are you really alone? Yeah. Pretty sure I am. You can come in. Oh, hi. Hello?
She's waiting for you.
Lub. Angel has been added to characters in the menu. Lub. Oh? Look her, though. Look her. I am waited for numerous hospital supplies. Okay. I gotta check all of the cabinets. The door is open. You take a step inside. Oh. She wasn't going to make it. She wasn't going to make it. She wasn't going to make it. At least... not until I stepped in. Oh. Do you want to feel her kick? No, not particularly. Thanks, though. Hello? I can't. Okay, great. Yeah, this many baby pets is unnerving. Didn't someone earlier mention a unicorn lady? Am I imagining that? Wait, Angel's gone. Okay. Well, let's do a quick save. Is there anything else that I need to check out? I think that's everything. We've looked in Reggie's office. We've been to the maternity ward. I think that's everything. I think we gotta go talk to Mary now. Okay. Baby, sleep on the floor! Obviously! Hey Mary, I got some news about your husband. It's true! Okay, actually I'm gonna save again. I'm just gonna save over where we were because we didn't really do anything, but I want to talk to Reggie? Everything alright? Yeah, just fine. Okay. I didn't know if that was what to do. Attack Mary or talk to Mary? Well, I would like to talk to Mary. Mary, I really need to talk to you about something. Okay. Sit next to me. Can we take a quick minute for me to go use the restroom? I got to pee real bad. And with stuff going on, I should probably go do that before we get into it. I don't have my Be Right Back screen set up, so we're just gonna sit here, but I will play some music while I go do that. So I will be right back. Not my captions hearing me talking to Devo and asking him why he's stinky. You did have a RoboCache there just staring at y'all for a minute. Sorry. I didn't. We're 2 hours in, which is usually why, or when we like stop playing, but we're so close to the end of the game, I assume, that it's like, I just want to keep doing it, but I didn't set up like words on stream or anything like that. So, yeah, Devo, go take a bath. I don't know why he's so stinky, but he is. He heard that I was going to the restroom, and he was like, oh, I gotta do that too, and just stank up the place because he's gross. This is like the end of Sun. She's like, okay, cool. Yeah! Perfect. Are we ready? Devo, can you stop yelling? Are we Reggie? Okay. Sit next to me. Yeah, sure. I think Reggie is Reggie. I would agree with that. Oh, look! I can see why you wanted to sit out here. It's a lot prettier than whatever's going on in there. I'm Reggie, you're Reggie, we're all Reggie. I just think it's nice to be outside. What did you want to talk about? Oh, it's about Dr. Tetra. I see. You know, Dr. Tetra used to sit outside with me a lot too, up here on the roof. Yeah, even when it was cold. It wasn't always, but I always got so happy when he did. It felt nice to get some fresh air and to spend time with him. I thought you were afraid he didn't like you. No, that's just recent. Recent, huh? What changed? Funnily enough, this conversation happened on the roof too. It was a really sunny day outside, all bright and warm, and because it was the first warm day of the season, everyone was itching to be outside. So he took me out to the roof again. Surprisingly, we were the only ones here. I don't remember exactly how I felt physically. I just remembered feeling happy to feel all warm in the sun. Hi, Akos! How's it going, friend? Welcome in! I made my way over to the bench over here and looked out into the city, and I started thinking of all the things I want to do once I was discharged from the hospital. Yeah, we're using it as a placeholder every so often. I'm doing all right. It's been a challenging couple of weeks, if we're being honest. But it's looking to be getting better. Yeah. How are you? How's it going? Yeah, thinking of all the things I want to do once I was discharged from the hospital. You can see so much from up here, you know? I thought about going to the movies, maybe to the beach. I can see a really nice shaded park in the distance. Thought about how I'd love to walk through it on a day as nice as that one was. And I told him that. I talked about how excited I was for when I could finally leave. And I kind of wish I didn't say anything at all. Because he looked so different after I said it. And he told me not to get my hopes up. What? He reminded me of my condition, and he told me I'd been getting worse. And, I mean, it's not like he was wrong. I was looking at him with an IV in my hand and an eye patch on my face, and I needed his help just to get up the stairs. Good job! Doing meh, but an okay meh. We'll accept an okay meh. Good job on getting your portfolio sent out, though. That's a lot of work to do. Yeah, like I said, things are things are looking up. We're headed in the right direction. There's just a lot of nonsense going on in my personal life and, you know, in the world. But yeah, it's nice to have you here. It was just the way he said it. It felt like he was mad at me for it. Like it was my fault I'm like this. And suddenly, I felt bad I made him take me up to the roof. Like, he's an important doctor, and here I am wasting his time and energy, and I don't know. I felt really embarrassed. I become such a burden, and every day I only become more work for the people in my life, even my doctors. I don't mean to do that to them. I never meant to get sick. I never wanted to require so much effort. It's part of why I wanted to leave, even despite whatever illness I have. If I could just show him I'm fine, if I could just show I'm fine on my own, I'd be less work for everyone. And they wouldn't have to get frustrated with me anymore. Did I make you feel like you were frustrating to me? Huh? I'm sorry, Mary. No, you're fine. I know I'm not... I might have skipped something. My bad. I do want to talk to you about Dr. Tetra, but I think there's something you should hear first. Okay.
I'm the worst.
Oh, Celeste, no! I know it's done that a couple of times where it's like cut people off, but I had my finger on the enter key a little more aggressively than I normally had, so I wasn't sure if that was them cutting Mary off or if I had hit the key. It's fine. I'm the worst. What? You're not? No, I'm the worst. And you know how I know I'm the worst? Because no one likes me. I don't have any friends. And despite what I always tell myself, it is my fault. I have no friends because I'm someone no one wants to be friends with. I'm mean, and I'm angry, and I hate everyone. Thought no one was good enough for me, so I sat and I waited for someone to really try being my friend first. Show me they're worth getting to know. That they're worth my time and kindness and whatever else. And I realized, that's you. You are the kind of person I was waiting for this whole time. You've been putting in that effort that I've been waiting for. Someone who could prove they could be my friend. Someone who's always trying to be agreeable and easy and no trouble to be around. Someone who wanted to be my friend. And now, I think... what the hell is wrong with me? Expecting so much work from someone else, and when I finally had it, it didn't change anything. I would snap, and you'd brush it off, and it didn't make me happy. You were putting in all that effort, but effort wasn't the thing that made me feel better about you. You were fun to be around, to talk to talk with, to get to know. Just being there, you made my night feel not as bad as it could have been. I'm gonna cry. We were talking about being a lot of effort, about being work. And I understand why you don't want to be any work. You think you'd be an easier person to like, right? If no one had to stress over you? But where would that get you anyway? Not wanting to be any effort, to avoid causing trouble, to avoid bothering people, to avoid anything that means you need someone else. You'd still just end up alone. You want to be low effort because you think it's going to make people like you. And yet the irony in that is you put so much effort into just trying to be low effort. And then here I am, probably the highest effort person on the planet, and you trying to be the low effort isn't what made me like you. It's actually the opposite, kinda. People like you for you, and that's where their effort comes from. There's still stuff I have to tell you about, but I think you should know people didn't stop putting effort into you. And I don't think you should try to make yourself low effort either. Because good things are always worth the effort, aren't they? And I think you're one of the nicest things that's happened to me. Excuse me. Oh, you ever find out how to make the world go back to normal, I hope you know that I'm going to be there for you. Because I think you're worth the effort. Not Arcade over here punching me in the gut constantly. Please. Ugh, okay. Ugh. I know it didn't work so well the first time, but can I hug you? Yeah. I think I'd like that. A little heart in there. Mouse, watch it! No! Reggie! Please! Reginald! Okay. Okay. You were going to tell her, weren't you? About what you found out? No, I refuse. Do you have any idea how long it's been? How hard I've had to work? For what? Just for you to come along and ruin it for me? Not this time. It's not going to happen this time. I'll die before I let you take her away from me again. Reggie! Your sprite's really cool, but also I'm not ready for this. I don't want to be in a world where I have to fight him. No, listen. I played Cemetery Mary. I had a feeling. I kinda knew, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change how much it hurts, and now I have to do a murder on Reggie. Okay. Well, it's a good thing we have as many healing items as we have. Let's get high perfection on. Sun's here. I'm not letting you ruin this for me again. Get that energy up. Was it not? Oh. Okay. First move I make. Not the best. Okay. Well, we did save just before this, so... Wait, who am I as? Mary. Everything I've done, I've worked too hard and got too far to give up. Not this time. Oof. I just want a dual attack, that's all! As if I'm going to let this all go down the drain. Really? Oof! Okay, this is fine. Reggie's not gonna attack Mary, right? Like, that's just, he's just not gonna do that. So this works. Mary can just offer support. Repeatedly. Oh! 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 Do the... Well, yeah, no, that makes sense. Mary is the least, or like, furthest on the priority list for Reggie to hit. Don't you understand why I have to do this? Why would you get in the way of that? An excellent hit. Eee, wake up! Tastes like sparks. We are getting some good crits, and it makes me very happy. I don't want to use the medical kit just yet. Okay. We'll do a bandage on Vasilis. Can't let this happen anymore. Can't. It's not supposed to end like this. Yet it always... It is nice to see that Reggie has branched out for the types of weapons that he'll use. Let's do another dual attack. Mary, go ahead and use... Go ahead and use the lemonade on Vasilis. I should save some of these for... No. What we're gonna do is defend so that Mary gets some more energy. It's not for nothing, please. My work. It has to mean something. Otherwise... Oh? Oh? That's good to know. Do another dual attack. Mary... Can't... Big Reggie. Hold on, how is Vasilis doing? We need... Okay, okay. He is a very tall lad. Dual attack, Mary. She needs 60 for the MP restore. I should have gotten more electrolytes for her. Okay, Mary also do an attack. Only 11. Okay, I think... Yeah, we're down to yellow. I'm feeling good about this. Let's do 350 heal for Vasilis. Mary does hit like a tiny baby, but you know what? I can forgive her for that. She got the tiny baby fists. Tiny baby Mary fists. We'll do a double attack for Reggie. We'll defend as Mary. I gotta get her energy up so we can get more... Ugh. Okay. I need her to get more MP, and while I can give her items, it doesn't feel as... not effective, but like it's the smartest move at the moment. It's fine. I'm gonna use the med kit. I'm gonna regret using the med kit, but I want to get Vasilis as healed as possible. Okay. Attack. Mary. Defend. We're gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna be 1 point off for being able to MP restore. Eee! Item. I am concerned. I am concerned. There is so much concern here. I think Vasilis can take at least one hit, even if it's a big one. Shit! He avoided both of those! Also, Mary's got 69 energy. Nice. Dual attack. Mary, I'm gonna need you to Heal Vasilis, please. And then we're gonna do some lemonade on Vasilis, and Mary is going to MP restore. Dual attack, we're in the orange. Okay, I think the next time that I have to restore MP for Mary, I'm gonna have to do the electrolytes, which is fine. Oh no! I think we're gonna have to double up on milk. I do have defibs, but if I can avoid having to use them, that would be wonderful. But I think I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to take it. Okay. I'm still gonna heal Mary, or heal Vasilis as much as I can. Have a good sleep, Akos. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. It's always a delight to see you. I hope you get lots of rest, and I hope we can see you soon. Good night, friend. Okay, dual attack. Mary. Okay. We're in the red. Reggie's in the red. And this is our last milk for Vasilis. Fight. Almost enough for a double attack. Mary, go ahead and use electrolytes. Eee! Oh, that hits so hard! Mary, we gotta do a hit. Oh, Vasilis. Oh, Vasilis. Oh, buddy. Oh, boy. Oh, heck. I'm gonna make him sick this turn. I wanted to get as many hits in as possible before Vasilis, like, ate shit, you know? It's fine. Yeah, Vasilis is fine. They're fine. Everything is fine. Vasilis got their hits in. Okay. I think... I'm gonna start with the smaller defibs first. Which was probably a mistake. Okay. Oh! He has so little health. No, that overrides the other bit of sickness. Let's do a hit. Okay, Vasilis is down again. That's fine. Reggie, you can't keep doing your big hit. also incredibly upset. Yeah, I didn't even die! Oh! Okay. I'm gonna take a big drink of water because my mouth is so dry. Okay. Vasilis' party wins. Oh. This can't be happening. If I lose again, it means that everything I did... No. Oh, the little heart... A little broken heart on his hair. I don't want it. It sounds good, David. Thank you for the alert. Mary, please listen to me. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I never meant for it to go this far. If it worked, then it all would have been okay. Please, you have to believe me. I wouldn't have hurt you for nothing. Please, don't leave me again. I didn't do it for no reason. I wouldn't have put you through that for no reason, I swear. If you trust me, I promise it'll be okay. It'll have meant something. There was a reason for it. But if it ends here, it really would have all been for nothing. And I can't have that, because it wasn't for nothing. It was for you. Every bit of it, all of it. It was for you. It was for you. Everything I do has always been for you. Please believe me when I say it really would have all been okay. You would have understood. You wouldn't have lost any time. This can't keep happening like this. From the very beginning, I never meant to hurt you. This is heartbreaking. And now it seems like it's all I ever do. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I can't stop. I'm sorry it's never worked even now, even after everything that's happened. But it still can. It doesn't have to end here. We still have time. Please just stay with me. Stay with me for once. Just stay with me. And I'll do all I can to make myself worthy of your forgiveness. I promise. I swear it. Please. Please, Mary.
To become the cruelest thing to happen to you.
Reggie?
Mary, Dr. Tetra.
Well,
I had a feeling it might have been you. Tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I see now I should have listened to my intuition after all. Yeah, get out, we're having a moment, please. Saw the signs in your office, Dr. Tetra. I know what you've been doing. Do you have any idea what the hell you're messing with? It will ruin your life. It already has. If that's the case, then I'm putting a stop to it before you can continue to ruin anybody else's. Sorry, Vasilis. I know taking up the trash is usually your job, but I think I need to take this one into my own hands. Don't hurt my boy. No. The hell are you? Ugh. My arm! Let go of my arm!
I don't think so.
Oh, come now, Doctor. I think a little trip to my mind dungeon will do you some good. Won't be for long, but I'm sure it'll give you time to reflect on all you've done wrong. You may feel extra sorry by the end of it. No worries about what happens after. Once you're let out, we're sure to have a nice officer or two ready to escort you to jail for medical malpractice. You've got a good lawyer, don't you? No, we aren't doing this. If this is how it ought to end. I'm leaving on my own terms. Mary. I'm sorry. I hope despite it all, some part of me may live in your memory kindly. I'll do better next time. In a bizarre flash of color, Dr. Tetra vanishes.
Huh.
I should have known. It really is too late for him. What? What's that look for? You... And then he... And your face? Oh. We don't need to talk about my face. But Rune, you just... Vasilis. We don't need to talk about my face. Mary, are you alright?
Oh.
Oh, I guess so. I'm happy to hear that. Seeing as he's out of the picture now, I feel the need to confess. I'm the reason we're all here right now. What? But you... I did it using, where did he drop it?
Right.
Arcade, I might know who's responsible for giving us this incredibly unfair ending. Here it is. I'll tell you later.
Indeed.
That's my spell card. A special paper that allows me to perform a magical spell and have the spell undo itself once the card is ripped up again. Quite handy for when you need magic in a pinch.
Okay.
I don't understand. When the pinner? I mean, you didn't hear it from me. When the power went out tonight, that was because of me using this card. The spell that's on it, it was meant to freeze time. Hold on, let me finish. I was using the spell card to freeze time for everyone, except for me and Mary. Me? Yes. I had been curious about Mary's condition, especially when it suddenly took a turn for the worse. But despite me being one of the head neurologists, no one was allowing me access to her files or allowing me to even speak to her. It all seemed very fishy to me. So I wanted to talk to the girl myself. I'm no stranger to magic, and I thought that this way would be the easiest to ensure I could take my time talking with her. Maybe even run a few tests of my own if she was feeling well enough. Alas, something went wrong. I thought it was just a simple power outage at first, but then I noticed the elevator was still working. By the time I had made it to Mary's room, I realized all too well the spell had failed. I had to change things back to normal. I'd left the spell card on my desk. Foolish me. So I went back to go get it, and wouldn't you know? Surprisingly, it was missing. And it looks like it was because someone else had caught on to my little plan somehow. But I still couldn't understand why he would feel the need to steal it from me. I don't know what he thought he would accomplish, keeping the world like this. But in any case, I suppose he just wanted to make sure things still went the way he wanted them to. I'm sorry he put you through all that, Mary.
No.
Huh? Oh, no, I'm okay. Really, he never made me feel... Well, I'm still very confused on how we all ended up here to begin with. As long as the people you include in your spell card are still alive, there's no reason that it should have ever... What's so funny? No, it's fine. I understand what the issue is now. Now that I understand it, it almost feels too obvious. Sorry, Mary. If I had known of it sooner, maybe this whole thing could have been prevented. But we're here now. We're all safe. All's well that ends well, isn't it? With just a rip of this card, I'll bring us all back to our world. Well, wait. If we put the world back to normal now, Mary will go back to feeling a lot sicker again, won't she? Is she gonna be okay? There's only one way to find out. Rin, that's unacceptable. I need a solid answer. Twyla! I see see those eyebrows. Also, Nova was there. It's morning? When did I get here? Mary, she's gotta be in her room, right? Oh, I'm 100% gonna be trying to... Not me going full gremlin! Holy shit! Just... instantly feral! Oh my god! Person is standing here, lightly nodding their head. Looking closely, you can see the person is busy listening to their music. They don't seem worried. Maybe they're just waiting for someone. Yeah, they are! Listen. I love it. Twyla, what are you doing here? Don't you have a job to do, Facilis? Oh my god, look at her. Alright. Angel, you're still here? Yeah, why wouldn't I be? Oh, sorry, hold on. Responding to this message. Okay, I just wanted to check to see if there was extra dialogue. Okay. Are you all done? Yeah, sorry. I just had to bring my dad his lunch. He forgot it at home. Can we leave now? Something about being in a hospital gives me the heebie-jeebies. Incoherent noises. Oh, look who it is. Hey, it's you again. Croven, what happened to your nose? I feel like I could say that about you. What happened to your nose? He must have broke it falling for you. Oh my god. Excuse me? Dude, shut up. She's just saying that because I wanted to ask, do you, have any days off this week? Huh? Gotta throw the guy a bone here. He kept talking about how he was gonna be so disappointed if he didn't get to see the gorgeous janitor that works here. Ever since he was last here, come on, dude, that's enough! So, what is it? Oh, Vasilis. I'm Vasilis. Croven. So, you know, if you ever want to hang out with us one day when you're free or something, that's, Croven, right? I'm a little busy right now, but just give me a second, I can go over my schedule after, okay? Yeah, sure, take your time. I'll be here. Everything okay? Yeah, yes, correct, it's fine, everything is great. Okay, everything is fine. But I want to go over there. Okay, anyone else? I gotta look. I don't need to go that far. Okay. I didn't think so, but I figured I would check. Oh! This is fine. I know Mary's room is on the other side, but I just want to do a quick check. It was 6:05, right? Yeah. Mary? You can still walk. Yeah, I can. I told you, all's well that ends well. Rune! look at you, already feeling better. Now, I'd still like to keep you in the hospital a little while longer, just to make sure there's no lingering effects. But if you're willing to trust me, I think I can pull a few strings to make a make for a very spontaneous recovery for you, Mary. What's the matter? Nervous?
Well,
I don't know. I was so excited for when I'd be able to leave, and now that I might actually be able to get out of here, I'm not sure how I feel. Yeah, that's okay. It's sure to be an adjustment. But I'll be here while you figure it out, okay? How did I make you Phyllis? I know you talked about being so high effort and all, but I hope you know that I think you're worth the effort too. Oh my god. We got the true end! For my own happiness. Oh! Look out. First try. Oh, they went to the Deathstalkers concert together. Look at them. They went to the. I love that they're best friends. Good guest start. The beach. The beach. I see my name. Also, look at all the people who support on Patreon. That's lovely. Sorry, I've. I thought you were the little friends forever. I'm glad to know that Reggie's still around. We did it! We beat it! That was awesome! Holy shit, Arcade! He is part of their friends forever. It's true. This was fantastic. Oh my god. Arcade, you made this! You made this! And you did so good! And it was so good! And I had so much fun with it! Ah! Everyone that did voices was wonderful. The art, obviously perfect, as always. The soundtrack was amazing. This was great. Oh, I had so much fun playing this! Okay, hold on. Thoughts. Bringing my thoughts back together. There are 2 other endings for the game. I will not be doing those on stream. I will be doing those on my own time. But because there are other endings, you can download the game yourself and check it out and play it and support our friend. And I guess just thanks Arcade. Thanks Arcade for making a cool game. Yeah. No, this was awesome. I had a lot of fun with this. This was cool. But I guess I will I will form more coherent thoughts as a whole. Later on, after the initial hype of getting through the game and getting the true ending on my first go. Once that has settled down a little bit. I really only have like good positive things to say about it though, so you know, that's real cool and exciting. It meant a lot to me that you came and watched me play it. Friends. Oh my god. Okay. We're gonna change screens. Yeah. This was awesome and wonderful and delightful and a lot of fun and just really great. I'm excited to see your future projects, but also take a break. You've been working on this real hard for a while. Take a break. You deserve it. You can wishlist this on Steam if you want, but, you know, you can also pay what you want on itch, and that's cool. Yeah, we will no stream on Friday, because we're gonna be watching the Outwaters in Discord. If people can let me know what time works best for them, that would be great. And then we'll be back this weekend, I think. I think we'll be back this weekend with Dead Space, right, Fruity? There is so much dang game in this here arcade game. Those games by Arcade Kitten that we like, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of that game in this here game, and it was real great. No, but seriously, it was great. So yeah, that is what I got for this weekend, oh my god, words. That's what I have for tonight. Shall we find someone to raid into? Who do we have on right now? Couple of people. Hold on, let me change things up. Okay. I've got Super Great Friend doing some Abyss of the Sacrifice, which I have no idea what that is. Toadsworthy doing the public beta for Dead by Daylight for the new killer, who honestly looks kind of like ass. And Data Rich doing some Crisis Core. Any of those sound good? Anybody have any recommendations? Yeah, no, of course. Look, I'm not opposed to going over the usual time that we normally play in, especially if we're close to the end. Most of the time I usually just go for about the 2 hours because that's what I have the energy for. But I was determined. I was determined to get through this. Should we go say hi to SGF? Let's go see what this game is. It does look like it is an anime of some sort. An anime game of some sort. As I click in. But, you know, it's SGF. How bad could it be? Alright. We're gonna go say hi to Super Great Friend. Yeah. We'll be back this weekend. I'll see most of y'all in Discord over the next couple of days. Thank y'all for being here. Thanks for hanging out and being lovely and just delightful, and I adore all of you. Thank you again, Arcade, for hanging out while we played your game, and also for making this game. And we will see y'all next time. Bye, friends!